Okay, everybody, it's episode 2, part 2 of my canvas tent vacation, and today it really does feel like a vacation day. You can probably tell by my squinting. It is sunny out and it is warm. It's above zero for sure, maybe 5 or 6 degrees. The snow is starting to get soft. The sun is shining bright, and even the wind is warm. It's not quite Mexico, but it is perfect for me. And what I'm doing right now is I've gone to, I don't know if you remember, but earlier this year I did a couple of episodes trying to find a good tent spot. And one of the locations was completely abandoned. It was essentially trash. There was garbage all over the place. But in the midst of all of that trash, there was some wood. And so I decided I'd go for a little drive on this sunny afternoon, and I would go back to that old location, and I would take that old wood that's sitting around there that's doing nothing but rotting. And so it makes sense that I save my back, not use the chainsaw if I don't have to, and get some wood. It's good wood. I'm excited. Look at this. It's like right in the alders. Wow, here comes the mother load. It's a bit, I still think it's good. It's really old. It's a bit rotten, but there's a part of me that wonders, is someone going to come back and try to collect their wood? But like, it's literally grown into an alder bush here. Or an alder bush has grown over all of this stuff. It's a nasty area, and I kind of feel pretty good about salvaging the wood, to tell you the truth. The snow is getting so soft. I actually had to do a couple of loops here just to give myself a nice solid track to get out, because it was pretty deep where I landed. So yeah, I think I've taken enough. And I'm going to go back to the tent now and organize all this wood and settle in for the night. Hi. It's about 5, 6, 7 degrees warmer out here than it is inside that tent. That tent's pretty cold compared to out here. It's pretty amazing to think that it's just the middle of March and it's this warm. It's unbelievable. You could actually say it's a heat wave. Is that right? To have propane spitting out like that? I don't know if there's something wrong with this unit here, but the last 2 or 3 propane cylinders I've put in this stove have done that. I don't think it's right. I don't feel like it should be spraying like that. Anyway, it's in there now. Okay, I got a little trick that I learned from a comment. A viewer said you should light your match first, then lay it down by the element, then turn on the propane. What I was doing was I was turning on the propane, then putting the flame down next to it, waiting for it to kick in, and boom! Usually it would be a little bit of an explosion there. Oh! No boom! One thing about propane stoves is they are hot. Man, they cook fast. Pea soup today. Have some pea soup. And I'm going to get myself a coffee. I'm going to have, I've got a bun here. I'm just going to cut it in half. A little bit of ham. Some extra old Canadian cheddar. My favorite, of course. Stick for stirring. I love pea soup. It reminds me of my short stint in construction after college. It wasn't my calling, I can tell you that. But I did it for about 6, maybe 8 weeks. And at lunchtime, there would be a food truck that would come and I would get the pea soup almost all the time. I loved it, pea soup. And then I would have like a turkey sandwich, and it would fill me up every day at lunch. I just loved when that food truck came, and it would be in a can. You could just pull the top off of the can, and it would already be heated. Like the food truck had these things ready to go. Let's see what this stuff's like. Not bad. I know it's not the best method, but a little bit of water is better than nothing. And I forgot my wash basin, so it might be old, but it sure is beautiful. Lots of beautiful colors in there. I'm going to bring the rest into the tent. Not bad. That's the haul. That'll get me through the night for sure. I'll be able to stay warm all night with that amount of wood. I don't think I'll use it all. And what I have left out there hopefully can get me through 2 more days. And that would be pretty much the extent of my little canvas tent vacation anyway. 3 or 4 good days here. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to take a walk around the tent and try to figure out tying it down better, because right now it's not tied down properly. It really isn't. Let's go take a look. So as you can see, I don't have it tied up properly. I've only tied it up to 3 of these grommets here on this side. And over here, 3 as well. And a big reason for that is because I'm lacking in trees. And what I normally would do is I would use snow anchors. And snow anchors work really well. But I didn't want to have snow anchors this year, because I figured if I am keeping it up for the summer, then a snow anchor is not going to do much good come July. Okay, can you see me? Okay. So yeah, look. Oh, I was trying to show you that there's a lot of slack. Oh, I don't need a shower anyway. It is, except for those whiskey jacks, incredibly peaceful out here. It's amazing. It really is amazing to be out here. I get emotional sometimes in this quiet. Now I'm going to go ruin the tranquility here, the peace. There is a whiskey jack going into the tent right now, thinking there's some food for him. Hey! Hey! Get out there! Oh yeah. Okay. I need at least 16 feet. That's how long my tent is. I'd like to have 20. I'm going to do a little measurement now. The most accurate measurement of all time. That's about 16 there, even though I only counted 15 feet. These boots are huge. I'm going to take it all the way up. I don't know if any of you guys watch TA Outdoors. That guy might have the best channel out there. Next to Joe and Zach, of course. But, man, do they ever have nice wood out there in the UK. Like this spruce is okay. It's just really soft. You ever see those guys on TA Outdoors just like peel bark off of those giant trees? I mean, my lord, it looks so nice. I don't think I can do that with this. I don't know, can you peel spruce as easily as you can peel some of these giant trees that I don't know the names of over in the UK. That's why, that silence right there is why I want my March break to be at my canvas tent out in the bush like this. So quiet and just so amazing. It does so much for my soul. I can't tell you. I don't live in the biggest city. I live in a nice little city. It's really a big town, and it's not the noisiest place. In fact, it's rather peaceful. But I say no matter where you live, no matter how big or how small, if you've got a little location away from your home, outside of your town that you can go to that's somewhere in nature, I say you got to go. You got to bring your camera. You got to get it up to YouTube. Plenty long enough. Okay, that's good. Whoa. It's getting late, it's getting dark, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to burn all of these branches here and all of these spruce boughs that came from the trees that I cut. And I'm going to show you something. So, this right here it's the fly. It's like the tarp that goes over top of my tent, melted onto the chimney. And now the other night when I had the fire going full blast at around 3:30 in the morning when I woke up, this thing activated again and I could really smell the plastic coming off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it right on top of the fire and hopefully I can get it all off and just melt it all off. And I don't think it'll do anything to this except for probably blacken it a little bit, which isn't the end of the world. So that's the plan. I have some lighter fluid, I have some spruce boughs, I'm good to go. That guy's a bit wet. Smells good. So this is probably going to crack and whistle and make all kinds of sounds. I actually find spruce boughs when they burn, or maybe it's the acorns, I'm not sure, but something in there almost sounds like a whiskey jack. It's like a little bit of a whistle. It's pretty cool sounding. Hopefully I can get that effect tonight. I'll show it to you guys. Anyway, I'm gonna lighter fluid the heck out of this thing. This is a colossal fail. Okay, I know what I need to do. Okay, you gonna do it? I put so much lighter fluid on here. The wood I got today is really dry. And I'm going to see if I can get it going here. I'd say it's gone. Woo! Hot. Every time. Every time. Whoa. Yes. That's the way you want it. Super crispy. I know it might look a little bit black, but I'm telling you right now, that's going to be amazing. It's got to be crispy on the outside. You got to sear it. It's the only way. Well, cheers. I'm gonna dig into this thing. It's 10 o'clock. And I haven't eaten this late since 2 nights ago. Let's see what happens. Juicy, fatty, melt in your mouth. Crispy. It is that juicy and that fatty. Like a $4 steak. You can't beat it. A pork steak, but whatever. It is just as good as beef steak, if you ask me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is pork just as good as beef? If you cook it right, you cook it the same way. I think it is. I think it's the same. I am telling you guys right now, it is the warmest it has ever been in this tent. It is blasting in here. Snow pants are off. Maybe 30 degrees. Especially right here. So, dishes are done. And the stove is cooking. And I have a little bit of an open concept here now. Normally I would have the table like a little bit closer, like almost right here up against my leg, the table would be. But I decided to kind of use it as a little cook prep area, and it's pretty much a kitchen. It's a kitchen is what it is. And this stump that I use for chopping wood is now my little table. And for me, I come here oftentimes, most times by myself, so what does it really matter? Also, my cot, which you can't see right now, is in the back there, and it's got like some bags on it, my camera gear, some rope, and my little emergency kit, which I now carry with me all the time after that incident there about a month ago. If you haven't seen that episode, you want to check it out. It was a night of survival. 6 hours stuck outside here without this tent, nothing with me, essentially, except for a knife, and I was able to start a fire. That was great. Very entertaining, and it went by like that, I am telling you, and I learned valuable lessons. And also, I was reminded by a lot of you that I need an emergency kit, so now I have them with me all the time. So yeah, so it's like 11:30. Today has just been full out, non-stop. I've been up since 7 a.m. and it's just been really fulfilling. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my bed, and I'm eventually going to fall into it. I'm still a little bit awake right now. I have a little drink on the go, and just enjoying myself. So I'm probably going to turn off the camera now and say goodnight, so I can just kind of like pause for a moment, if you know what I mean. Because when you're working with the camera, it's non-stop. You're always thinking, okay, what's the next angle? Oh, I can't forget the camera. I've got to get a picture of the pork as it's cooking on top of the coals. Oh, now I got to run back and I got to get a shot of the potatoes, because I want you guys to see as much as possible. If you watched episode 1 of this little vacation, you know what it's like for me to set up the bed. I did it in that episode. So it's going to be the exact same thing, except for The sleeping bag's already out, and so is the thermarest. So I'm just gonna take it easy now for the next little bit. Maybe go outside and see if there's any northern lights, although I'm not expecting there are going to be any tonight. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to go to sleep, and hopefully I can sleep straight through, because it's kind of mild right now. So with the mild weather, I'm not expecting to, especially with that sleeping bag, it's rated to minus 30 or 35. I'm not expecting to have a horrible night's sleep. Actually, I'm expecting to have a nice, solid, good sleep. I might even sleep in the back of the tent because it's cool back there. This stove is insane right now. Anyway, before you know it, the sun's going to be rising. For me, it's going to take 8 or 9 hours, but for you, it's going to happen just like this. Good morning. I slept in. It's 9:30. Deep fried pancakes. Okay, time to eat. Pancakes, coffee. Start my day. It's a big feed. There's a lot here. It's going to give me a lot of energy before I get to work, so let's see. Very basic recipe. It's just an add water recipe. Keeping it simple in the bush. And it's good. So this tent's about a half a kilometer away from my tent. I know the person who owns it. I've met him once or twice before. And he looks like he has a floor. And I just came over because I wanted to see how he tied it down. I knew he was using trees. And it looks like they might be secured to the floor. So that would be an issue for me because I don't have one. Let's go take a look. He's done some pretty smart stuff. But he's only got it tied down. I wonder if he's got an internal frame. Because he's only got it tied down at the corners here. Like this. I thought he had... Well, let's take a look at the back. I see something in the back. As you can see, he does have a couple of trees. And then he uses the trees. He connects it here in the corner with some rope. With a vertical tree. He's got these trees on the angle, going straight to the ground, crossing over at the top there, and then he's got some lumber coming down. And then he's got the corner of the tent tied into it. I think the floor is the biggest difference maker. I mean, if I had a floor, it would be so much better. That is tight. He's got a nice tight seal there. A lot of people prefer this because they don't want anything in the roof, which kind of makes sense. I agree that having a hole in your roof does present you with a bunch of problems, but at the same time, you don't have to worry about this kind of setup with some sort of contraption here. A little makeshift thingamabobby in order to hold it up. It looks really good though. He's done a good job here. And this tent is a Fort McPherson tent, made in the NWT tent and canvas. They're beautiful tents, I tell you. I really like them. I don't have one, but I can certainly appreciate the local tent. Well, I can tell you guys that after seeing that tent, I definitely need to put a windsock on this camera. So after seeing that tent, boy, does it ever motivate me to get a floor. In due time, I know I'm going to get one, and I know if I stay at this site over the coming years, I'll work on the snowmobile trail coming in and out, and get a floor, maybe some walls, and maybe even a little bit of insulation. There are rules that you have to follow. I don't lease this land, so if you are going to have a tent up, it has to be a structure that can be easily moved. So those are the rules. Like a cabin, you can't easily move a cabin. A cabin with like a tent with a solid roof, you don't pass the test. If a officer came by, a lands officer came by and checked the roof and felt it and said, oh, that's all solid the whole way through, he'd probably put an eviction notice on and say, you've got about 6 months to get this thing down, or else we're going to do it ourselves. And no one wants to deal with that. So I don't lease this land. I'm essentially, you could call me a squatter putting up my tent. But I am following the rules. I'm not breaking any rules with how my tent is set up now. I can take it down in a day. So even with a floor and some walls, some insulated walls, you can easily take that down. It would take you a day or two. You'd come in, you'd strip it down, you'd move it, and you'd be fine. There's lots that I'd love to do. Of course, I just bought a snowmobile, and that was more important to me than building this tent as a dream tent. Because if I don't have a snowmobile, I just can't get out anyway. So I might as well have a snowmobile and have the tent the way it is, and at least enjoy it the way it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen these like that, nice and loose. In fact, I think I'm going to take them down and give myself some room here. And I'm going to raise this side up. And it's not going to be easy because this tent weighs a lot. I've got the chimney taken down already, and I've got the stuff in the middle of the tent kind of like pushed to the side there, so, or pushed into the middle I should say. So I'll release all of these, the tent will slacken, and then I got to figure out how I'm going to get underneath without breaking my back. Okay, I can definitely get it up. Whoa there. Okay. This could work. Oh. This is a crazy balancing act here. I'm running out of battery power, which is unfortunate. So I'm gonna I'll get the first one in, and then I'll show you what I've done. I'll go around and I'll show you what I did. And because the last thing I want to happen is for this thing to shut off in the middle of a record and not allow for me to actually, you know, end this episode properly. The ending is important. So I'm just gonna pick away at this and then I'll update you guys in a bit. Okay everyone, this is the world's most basic little tent stabilization. Essentially I took some 4x4s, drilled some holes in it for the conduit to go down in, I've got some 2x6s there with some deck screws. The old 4x4s on the bottom have been around for a couple of years now. It's a bit warped, and you can see I attached one 8-foot 4x4 here, the old one, with another 8-foot right here with these two 2x4s. That was the first time I came up here 2 years ago. I'm also going to put some sand or some dirt underneath here. There's going to be some gaps underneath the bottom there. Here's how it looks on the other side. Once I knew what I was doing, it was a lot easier to set up. And I actually only had one 2x6. It was scrap wood. So I used 2x4s to hold this side up. So it's not pretty, but it's going to do the job. Look at this mess. Woo, baby! I'm going to tidy up. And I'm going to tie it down a little bit, the tent on the outside. And then I'm going to go home, charge all my batteries, pick up some more food, and come back for another beautiful day like this, folks. I'm telling you, is a March break I'll never forget. It is insanely warm. The snow is melting. It's unfortunate that it's melting this quickly because I did want to have more time here, but I'm lucky. Like one day is good. If I can get one day of winter, then that's great. I know a lot of people do series, and I enjoy them, so I thought I might as well do one as well. So yeah, like, keep commenting, keep giving me tips, keep giving me ideas. Is a pork steak better than a beef steak? Let me know. It's been real fun. I'm going to be back really soon. Part 3 is on its way. And I can't thank you enough for watching. So, okay, folks, take care. See you really soon.